Instagram is banning their users and they don't even know it. What is shadow banning in the first place?
Your own followers can't even see your posts.
How would you go about finding if you got shadow banned?
There's a few different reasons why, some of them being as simple as
how do you get out of shadow ban?
Does Instagram shadow ban?
Yep, it's a real thing. And today we're going to share with you everything we know about being shadow banned, how to know if you're shadow banned, what to do if you are shadow banned, and what Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, has to say about it.
And most importantly, we're also going to dig into how we went about fixing our shadow ban.
Because we don't want it to happen to you.
If you're a business owner or a creator with the intention of growing your online following, this could be a very, very destructive thing for your account. It's very disheartening. It's very counterproductive to all of a sudden get shadow banned when you're putting so much money, time, and energy into growing your social profiles in the first place.
Yep, but the good thing is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and there is a way to get past it, and it doesn't mean that you should just shut down your account and start over. And welcome back to the Content Era podcast. I'm Jaz.
I'm Seb, and this is a podcast by creative entrepreneurs for creative entrepreneurs where we talk social media strategy, content creation. So let's dive into what is shadow banning in the first place. I believe the official definition is when a social media platform limits your reach and sometimes even features on your account. And worst of all, you don't even know it as a user.
Your reach is limited. Your own followers can't even see your posts. Like, your posts just don't come up for them at all. I've even noticed in the past that if somebody searches your name on Instagram or your username, you just don't come up. So they basically hide you completely. They suppress any content that you post, and sadly, your views and reach drops quite a lot.
Yeah. And it's extremely frustrating because you could be a business owner or just like a creator that is posting just awesome content all the time, and all of a sudden you get shadow banned. Meanwhile, on your explore feed, you're seeing all these baddies and all these accidents and all these things happening. You're like, why am I getting shadow banned? And why aren't these accounts being shadow banned? It feels like you're getting shadow banned for the wrong reason. So today, right now, we're going to dive into exactly what things get you shadow banned.
So there's a few different reasons why you might get shadow banned. Some of them being as simple as using a banned hashtag or a keyword. Maybe you're overusing some automations, maybe some third-party apps that are not API approved to be used with Instagram. Maybe you're paying for likes and followers, or, for bots to do cold outreach for you. And any automated activity like this that's overdone and overused will get you shadow banned potentially.
So basically, if you're posting inappropriate content, if you're spamming other users, using bots, paying for likes, paying for followers, if you're doing repetitive behavior like commenting, messaging, all that kind of stuff, where would you say that Instagram draws the line between regular use and what would be considered spam from your experience?
So we know that there's a limit of sending 50 messages per day per account. So if you go over that, that could qualify you for a shadow ban or just a ban in general, maybe even, having your account restricted, things of that nature. I also know that if you leave too many comments or even like too many posts in too short of a time span, that can also constitute as a ban. What about you? Do you know any other ways? What would you say are some things that are worthy of shadow banning you on the platform?
Well, the obvious things would be posting inappropriate content. So either things that are better off on other websites and not social media, anything that's really violent. Sometimes I'll go in the explore feed and after a few swipes, I'll see some horrendous violence, just bad behavior by people. That shouldn't really be on the platforms because that's not what they're for. Spamming, using bots, we talked about that. So, and you can actually tell when a page uses bots and has that type of behavior, really high follower count, following very little to no account, and no engagement. And there is also what happened to us.
Yeah, so let's go back and share a little bit about how we even found out that we're shadow banned.
Yeah, because Instagram is banning their users and they don't even know it. What happened was that all of a sudden our views dropped. We're getting literally 50 views on a reel. And we're like, something's up. Either the algorithm changed or our video sucked or something. But we don't think that we suck that bad. So then we posted another video And again, very, very low reach, barely any views. And then we started to kind of think like something's wrong with the account. So we started to test, right? We started to like comment on other accounts on posts, and we started to see that we weren't allowed to comment. And then we went further. We did a test where Jaz unfollowed Awake Abroad Media and then refollowed Awake Abroad Media, and we got this message saying, hey, are you sure you want to follow this account? And then I did the same with you. From Awake Abroad Media, I unfollowed you and followed you, and it said some users prefer to approve their followers, which is not a setting that you set per se.
It was something along the lines of review this account before following.
Yeah.
It may be flagged as spam or bot or something like that.
Right. So that kind of told us that there was something wrong with our account.
That actually confirmed that we're shadow banned.
Yeah, that confirmed it. So between very low views, the inability to comment, the warning when following or being followed, it kind of got us to think, all right, what are we doing that we don't know that we're doing that is actually shadow banning us?
Because obviously we were not breaking any community guidelines. You know, we're not doing any sketchy shit.
Yeah, we post content about social media.
Right.
So what ended up happening is this. We hired a virtual assistant agency from overseas, and they were in charge of literally just sending initial messages to some of our followers just to start conversations, because we had too many to keep up with, and we wanted to start conversations with prospects as well. A lot of people follow us, but they don't say anything until we reach out. We had a quota of 30 messages per day. And as you mentioned earlier, the real quota by Instagram is 50 messages per day. So we were well within it. However, part of the SOP that we had was to send somebody a message and then comment on the post. And I think that's one of the things that maybe did it, was the fact that these comments were very repetitive. Like, hey, sent you a DM, check your DMs, or hey, I've sent you a message to your request. And that used to work on social media, but it no longer works.
And that actually got us restricted from commenting for about a week, I believe. Which actually, that is a separate thing from the shadow ban, because that can happen to you while you're not shadow banned, and then that usually gets lifted within a week or so. But the other thing that we suspected could be the reason was not just the commenting, but the fact that, and I've heard this before from actually one of our business coaches, if your VA from overseas logs into your account and does a lot of engaging, like sending messages and commenting and liking, your account can eventually be flagged as a bot or spam.
Instagram, like all other social media platforms, they keep a log of all of your logins. So if you have two phones and a computer, if you actually go to the settings and you go to your activity and go to your logged in accounts, you will see your both of the phones, and you'll see your computer. But when all of a sudden a login shows up and it's from India or Pakistan or Philippines or wherever, the platform goes, wait a minute, like this person's based out of the United States. Why is there all of a sudden a login from India? So that becomes a security breach, which kind of, I would imagine, raises a red flag in their system that makes them go, something's going on with this account. So just kind of like, maybe they got hacked or something. So it kind of raises that. Second, additional to the login is the activity on the account. So now we're having a heightened activity from this location on our account, and that activity is signs that something is going on with the account.
And one of the reasons that we think that this may be linked to the shadow ban is we started watching our reach closely, and what was our reach audience coming from and or where, and it started to get more and more into India and Pakistan.
Our reach was 53% India, and it used to be over 50% USA.
And Canada.
That became a problem because most of our followers were Indian, and I love Indian food, I love Indian people, culture, everything, but they're not our clients. They're not our customers.
Not to mention they speak a different language.
Exactly. So maybe it was also the fact that we get a lot of video editors reach out to us, and maybe in the algorithm, it just kind of showed that Indian people were interested in our content and maybe showed it more. But we're pretty sure that it was the fact that there was a login and activity happening every single day. More activity was happening from our VAs than from ourselves on the account. So this all happened 6 months ago, created a big problem for us. Now we told you how we found, but let's kind of back up a little bit. How would you go about finding if you got shadow banned? And the first way of doing it is you can actually go to your settings, go to your activity and your account status. And that's going to be like the most obvious way to know if you're shadow banned. That's going to be Instagram literally telling you, hey, you are shadow banned. You got to make sure that you have all the green check marks, that your reach isn't limited, that your content isn't limited, and that you have no limited features as well. Because some features may disappear from your Instagram.
The next thing you can do is you can ask a friend to unfollow you and follow you back. And if they do follow you and the message comes up to review this person's account, you can probably safely say that you're shadow banned.
Another one is message a friend and say, hey, can you look up my account on Instagram? If they can't find you, like if you literally don't come up in the search results, you've also been shadow banned. So if you have been shadow banned, how do you get out of shadow ban? There's a few ways of doing it. First and foremost, if you're using third-party apps that are taking control over your social media, remove them. I'm not talking scheduling software, that's fine. But if you are using other apps that either do engagement in your behalf, send messages in your behalf, you gotta eliminate those because that's probably one of the things that is flagging your account.
You can use them, but at your own risk, knowing that a shadow ban is possible.
You know, don't reach out to 200 people a day.
Yeah.
You know, maybe reach out to 10 and just kind of see if that's actually going to do any harm to your account. And is
another way to fix your shadow ban is to check if one of the hashtags that you're using is banned. And there is a website for this called, I believe, Meta Hashtags. We can leave the link in the description. And you could just simply go into the search field and type one of the recent hashtags or keywords that you used, and it'll let you know if it's banned or not.
And Instagram has recently switched from a hashtag-based search engine to a keyword-based search engine. So whether it's a keyword or a hashtag is the same thing in the algorithm. So you just basically want to avoid certain words. And I hope that you can put two and two together as to what those words could be. Anything that is politically controversial and extremely divisive, anything that is considered like racist or sexist, anything that is 18 plus content, avoid it. Anything that's about harming people or individuals, like keep that out. You know, I hope you're not creating content on any of those topics. But if you're doing something like if you're a reporter, like a journalist, and you're talking about these things, there are guidelines and recommendations that you can probably look into from other journalists that help them talk about these sensitive topics without talking about these particular keywords and hashtags. Another thing that you want to do is avoid using bots at all costs. So don't pay for followers. Don't pay for engagement. First of all, it doesn't work. And it's just a vanity metric that's actually going to tank your account's performance because it's going to lower your engagement rate as well.
Yeah, it's not actually going to help you grow. It's only going to make it look like you're growing. But the minute that you stop using it, it's going to go back to the way it was before.
What about consumption habits?
Yeah, so just be mindful of your consumption habits. As we mentioned earlier, don't send more than 50 messages a day. Don't leave too many spammy like comments in a row or in a short span of time. Same goes for likes. And following people too. You also shouldn't follow a mass amount of people in a short period of time.
Yeah, so if you're trying to use your social media, like your Instagram specifically, for lead generation to start conversations with people, it's a smart idea to start warming up your account. So if you're like, starting tomorrow, I'm going to reach out to 50 people, not the smartest thing. Start with 5. Then the next day, maybe do 5 or 6, do 10. And maybe the next week, move to 15 or 20 and kind of work your way up because you don't want to just go from 0 to 100 and the algorithm feel like there's something off with your account that they need to be worried about.
Next, don't do what we did and solicit services from overseas and let that person completely take control of your account and be the main source of engagement on that account. If you do hire someone for lead generation and cold outreach, just make sure that they're using a quality paid VPN. Make sure that they're actually using it on the day-to-day. And while they're doing that, you also want to go in there and do your own engagement for at least, 15 to 30 minutes a day.
You can even go to the extent of requesting that whoever is logging into your account uses a SIM card from whatever country you want to be in. And I know this is a little bit more complicated, but the platforms and the algorithm are scanning your phone. Where's the phone from? Where's your SIM card from? Where's your phone number from? Where's the activity, the login, the IP address? It is so multi-layered now that it would be wrong to say that, just use a VPN and that's going to be the only thing. You got to protect yourself from like 5 different angles at least to make sure that when you are using your social media accounts, you do actually show up for the country you want to show up in. It doesn't mean you can't hire them. These are very important roles. And as a busy business owner, you need to hire people. You need to delegate things like your social media. So you just have to be smart about it. One of the things that we use for our clients is we use a platform called Metrical, and that's how we schedule out the content. Now, some people may argue scheduling content, it could impact the reach or not. We haven't seen it. We've hit viral videos for our clients through scheduling softwares. It really comes down to the messaging and the strategy that you have behind it.
And the last tip we have for you is take a break. It might seem counterintuitive, but sometimes taking a break and let things reset on the Instagram algorithm end might actually be useful.
Yeah, I'd argue that getting shadowbanned was one of the best things that's happened to us recently. And the reason for that is it allows us to take a break from Instagram, which is nice, but it doesn't mean that we took a break from content creation, right? It just kind of allowed us to take a step back in our strategy and see where should we be putting our attention. And if we're putting all of our eggs in one basket on Instagram, we have a problem, especially when we got shadow banned. So we started to create content for YouTube, and we've been very consistent. We've been posting every single week a long form YouTube video. And so if you are shadow banned on any platform, don't lose the momentum that you have with content creation. Don't stop marketing. Don't stop talking about your business. You may want to take a break from that one platform where you're being shadow banned, but by all means, put your attention, your energy, your money, and all that into the other platforms. It's no excuse to stop growing on social media, to stop creating content, because when you lose that momentum, you're going to do more harm for yourself and your business. So continue creating, and maybe that's the opportunity you've been waiting for, to start creating YouTube videos or get on TikTok more, or just try that one thing. Maybe just kind of sticking to one platform was hindering your growth.
Just don't forget to come back.
Yeah.
So you've heard what we have to say, but what does Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, have to say about it? In a recent podcast with Brock Johnson, he got asked the question, are you shadow banning your users? And this is what he had to say.
Does Instagram shadow ban?
Yeah. If there are, they're very few.
Okay.
There are a couple real edge cases for the most gnarly potential harm you can think of.
Okay.
Where we might want to be careful not to let someone know that we are like looking into something. Mm-hmm. But those are the minority cases. So our hope is to put all of it in there, everything at the account level, right? It's possible that one piece of content might get caught up, but your account is fine, so that won't be in there. But at the account level, we try to have everything be in there. The only exceptions I can think of are for the darkest of dark, which I hope nobody watching here feels like they could possibly fall into that category.
Yeah.
So there you go. You heard it from the horse's mouth. He used to say that they don't shadow ban. And finally, I'm glad that Brock Johnson actually asked him the question, put him on the spot, and got the answer out of him. And the answer is yes, Instagram is shadow banning people. Now, he's saying that they're only shadow banning extreme cases and like very sensitive topics, but a minority of the users. You got to keep in mind, what is the user base of Instagram, right? It's billions of people. So a small minority of billions of people is still a lot of people.
It'd still be millions of people.
It could still be millions of people. And obviously, as we all know here, there are accounts out there that are posting inappropriate content on social media. Content that's better off living on other platforms or in the deep web, and not a platform where you just want to get entertained or whatever in your evening. That's kind of just the truth behind it, is that these platforms are shadow banning, and you may be shadow banned if you're kind of seeing the strange behavior on your account. You may have posted something that's inappropriate. You may have triggered the algorithm, but it's something that you can salvage.
You can get shadow banned even based off of the stories you post.
Yeah.
It just comes down to what exactly is the topic. Is it, a banned topic, or they don't want people to see that topic.
Right.
I know I was shadow banned for about a month when we first came to Mexico, because friends would reach out saying, "Are you okay?" knowing I was traveling overseas with a strange man, and they're like, "We haven't seen your post at all. In fact, I tried looking you up, and your username wouldn't even come up." But I'm sure it was lifted eventually, because now when I post and cross post, like, my reach is fine,
And then you were posting back then. You were posting stuff that.
Hardly. I was only posting stories for
Stories, but you're posting stories about opinions that weren't popular at the time. So there you have it. That's our experience with shadow banning. This is everything we know about shadow banning, what it is, how to get out of it. And we want to hear from you. Have you experienced getting shadow banned? Let us know in the comments. If you have, maybe you can do some of these things to troubleshoot it and let us know if they've helped. Also, let us know if you found anything new that we didn't mention about shadow banning, because you'll never know who you are helping in the comment section, who's going through the same thing that you are.
And if you do feel like you're shadow banned or you're not sure, don't be discouraged. Like I said, there is a light at the end of the tunnel and you'll get through this. If you need any support or encouragement, feel free to reach out. Our DMs are always open.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.